Okay, here we are again. I was 45 seconds into my previous recording and internet decides to crash. Seems to be a regular occurrence in the afternoons these days. I might have to call up the internet company about that. So, as I was saying, welcome back to the latest episode of my Bringing the Forgotten Kings Back to Life, or rather to life, build, where I am 3D modeling one of my NFTs called the Forgotten Kings, this right here. And one thing I found on my previous tutorial build, which looked really awesome, if you haven't watched the previous live stream for that, please do go. I was super happy with it. But the problem is that it was around 35,000 faces, and for what I want to do with it, I needed to be below 20,000 faces. And so I assumed that it would be the landscaping that was the faces, all the rocks and the cliff face. But come to find out, it was the sword. The sword was at about 30,000 faces, and everything else was about 5,000 faces for the rocks and landscape. So that just tells me that for these builds for this application, I need to keep as much detail as possible, but I needed to have good enough detail to match the image here and to be able to walk around it and look at it type thing, but I do need to keep the detailing to a minimum. So wherever I can use texture faces, things like that, in like texture mapping in order to do the detailing, I need to do that instead of doing actual cuts in the model, which then creates more faces. So faces is a big concern. But the other one, I was also following a tutorial which didn't have that kind of a limitation in place. So there may have been a lot of other things that I could have done differently. Primarily, the most faces was at the pommel, the piece here at the tip, because that was a very rounded object. It was rounded in almost all three dimensions, and that generates a lot of faces. Everything else, like the blade, was only 200 faces, and the pommel was 2,000 faces. And the handle and the grips were maybe like 500 and 300 respectively. Now, I'm not quite sure how how it's showing each piece individually at 2,500 and 300 equals 30,000, but that's what it said. So anyway, the bottom line is I need to keep the detailed enough, but relatively low, so that I can stay well within the 20,000 faces count. So this is what I am 3D modeling, and this is what I have so far. You can see it's kind of, let me come out of edit mode. It's got kind of a ovalish handle with like a power source, and then your handle back here. And I have dimensioned this accurate to a medieval two-hand sword, because that's what I judge this to be. Based on this shield here being a medieval Viking times sword, which has an approximate dimensions of, what was it, like 35 inches? Let me look that. I have all the details on my phone. So real quick, just pulling that up. Where did it go? Oh, Viking shield. What is it? 32, 36 inches, 80 to 90 centimeters. So if this is 30 inches, then this is massive, huge. So that's why I went with one of the biggest sword guides as I could, because this apparently is quite a massive sword. Either that or this is quite a small shield. It may be quite a bit smaller than the average Viking shield, which covered a good half the body or the full torso. That it may be a much smaller variant of a shield. I'm not sure, the pure estimate, so this is what I'm going on. So this is what I have so far. Looking okay, working on it. Let's continue. Let me pull up my live stream as a preview here. Hopefully we don't keep having internet issues like I was just having, and also had yesterday, unfortunately. Okay, so stream's up, we're good to go. Let us continue. So I have the dimensioning in here. That's what this is here. So I would need, hang on, collapse all. Oh, okay, so that's one piece. So I am editing the handle currently. So it looks like maybe a third, a third, a third, which is great because rule of thirds, why not? Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. Okay. So I need to All right, I want faces, wireframe. Let me grab all of that. I want to shrink that up just a little bit, so we will scale on the y-axis. Shrink that down a bit so that it's roughly a third, 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 which is what you see right about here. Okay, and so with that, I will then also need to move on the y-axis. Let me slide that over here so that it's essentially flush. And what does that look like? Does that look better? Okay, so the sword is sitting kind of at an angle like this. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Yes, kind of at a tilted back angle. I don't know how to rotate it like, oh, well, I can here. Oh, I don't know why I put it all the way up there, but okay. So it's kind of rotated at an angle. Okay, well, that's cool. Bring that back a bit, something like that right there. Yeah, that looks pretty close to the same angle, and it's tilted back. So if I were to look at it, say, from straight on, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's rotate this thing how it would be if it were, if I were looking at it straight on. So I want to tilt it backwards a little bit like that. It's hard to judge its backward angle, but I'm assuming that it is stuck in at an angle rather than straight up and tilted. So I'm going to say roughly that right there looks good. So this is what we would have in the environment, and everything else is going to be square. In the world, let me see what we have here as far as its X and Y. Item, location, -95. This is going to be our center item, so I really would like to have that zeroed, which I think is way over there. Oh, -4 centimeters. Hang on, let me... Oh, I am not sure what I'm doing there. Oh, yeah, okay. So... Okay, so that's calling that it's 0. That is interesting. Not quite sure why it's zeroing that out, but let's set it all to 0. I don't want to mess with the rotation. 0, 0, 0. Oh. Okay, so over here is the actual 0. Why is this one way over? Oh, because that used to be a huge box that I shrunk down. Oh, okay. That's why. Dimensions. Oh, it does show its dimensions here. Okay. So half a centimeter thick, 5 centimeters wide, and 110 centimeters long. That's roughly the dimensioning of medieval Viking type swords. So I am now going to line up this sword with that one and then lock its scale because I want it to be more at the center. So we'll do that, switch view, and that, and then zoom in on it. Let's get way up here at the handle. So that right there. Let's go ahead and do a move on that. Why is it like that though? Oh, maybe it's because it just doesn't have... because like I said, when I started it, it was a big box and I just shrank it down to the size. It left its 0, 0 way off where it should not have been. So move on the y-axis. We'll pull that in like that, and then move on the x-axis, no, z-axis. I want to come down, back on the y, kind of fit it in just like that. Okay, so that looks good as far as that's concerned. We'll move it back, slide it a bit this way. No, come on. There. Center it up. Centered there. No, needs to come just a bit that way. I'm just trying to get this relatively centered in here, how I would like for it to be. It's really jerky. Like, why is it snapping? I don't want it to snap. I want it to slide gracefully. Okay, well, whatever. I'm going to go with that. I would actually prefer it to be where it was more snapped to the other side. So let's see if I can just, right there. Is that okay? All right, turn on the wireframe. Let's inspect on the inside. Make sure it has at least a tiny bit of overlap, which it does not. So let's take this down on the z-axis and come down just a hair. Is that overlapping? Down on the z. Okay, it looks like that has just a hair of overlap there. And that works also because it's still centered for the most part. On the X, I'm going to slide that over just a bit. And that actually works because it'll stick it a little bit more inside the handle. Yes, that works. It's for the most part centered. All right, let's come back to a model view. Okay. So now it is squared up in the world where if I look at it at this angle, it is tilted in that direction and also tilted in that direction, kind of how it would be sitting in the stone. So, or not in the stone, but this one's just in a ground. But I like how that is looking. So let us continue up here with the handle. I'm just going to kind of quickly try to knock this out. Okay, so there is some detailing there, but not a whole lot. Edit. So this I can do as a wrap texture. But I do need something up here for this red tip. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. A big red streak in it. Oh, geez, come on, knock it off. What I want is to zoom in. There we go. Okay, so that does not look like the entire handle. Ooh, I just noticed there's actually some flame coming off of that. So that'll be even more interesting. Okay, so I need to have a tapered bit at the end. So I need a cut here. Let's slide that up roughly there. What do we think? Is that looking good? Maybe a little bit more, maybe. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I think that would be fine. That should be fine as a, yeah. No, stop with the cuts. Jeez. It's not what I was wanting. Did I actually make a cut? No. Okay. So let me grab these. Nope. Grabbed one too many. Turn you off. Grabbed all of those. Okay, so I will want to scale those in roughly there. It's not terribly picky. We don't have to be picky. Okay, then how am I going to do the that? I could do yeah, cuts. I could do 2 cuts and then just take off all the other faces that I don't need. I wonder. Not quite sure if it can work like that, but we're going to give that a try. Okay, so then if I wanted to delete faces, so all right, let's see if I want most of that. So let's say here, 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 here. Oh, but I can't necessarily get rid of those because that'll make that a big flat piece, and I don't really want that. No, that's going to have to stay there in order to stay red. Well, no, I'm going to have to leave those, but I can get rid of these. Actually, I can go that, and oh, wait, no, that. Then turn off these. It'd probably be, oh, but I got the other side to be turning off too. Okay, so let me flip over here. Make sure to turn off the same ones. Let's do, is it that one there? Looks like, and that one there. Can't tell. Let's see. All right, so I'm trying to find the center point this would be the center one here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And off the center we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that one needs to come back and this one turns off. So these ones off so that I keep those and I can put my texture in there. Okay, so here there's the center line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I can take off these because we went 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and take off those. Okay, so that's going to be my glowy bit. Now I'm going to see if I can delete these, delete edges, and then faces. I should be able to, oh, okay. So vertex, so maybe I should have dissolved. Yeah, let me back up and try and, I saw the dissolve option there. That may work better than dissolve edges. Ah, yes, perfect. That's exactly what I was wanting. Okay, so that'll work because again, I want to keep the faces minimum. So I need these for the roundness, but I don't need those necessarily. So that'll be the red jewel, the red energy source up here. And then I need to come down and make some more banding on this. And I'm seeing a little bit of detail there I can capture. So I need 3 big bands here. So 6 cuts in down here in this part of the handle. Okay, so more cuts, loop cuts. So let me get some good spacing. Yeah, okay, so 1, 2, that's 1 band. That's 2 bands. And then 3 bands. Okay, so that is good. All right, so that's for that section there. And again, I can take off most of these just because I can take off like all the ones down here on the bottom. I can take those off because I'm not needing those. And again, saves faces. So that'll be right about in the middle. So I'm going to keep these faces here. That looks about right. Maybe one, no, I don't want to go one more because then it seems like getting too high up there. Okay, so change to vertex. I can get rid of these. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wait. I'm grabbing the wrong thing here. I don't want to get rid of those. I want to get rid of these. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then lastly, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that brings us to the midpoint. Okay, nope. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I go 4 sections over on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, wrong one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those I can dissolve. Yep, saves faces. It's all about saving face here. Okay, so up here, what was I saying? So faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 faces. No, I don't want that one there. How about that one there? That one looks fine. Relatively centered. So actually, let's get rid of these. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted.